Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the Red, White, and True podcast, episode number 3. I'm your host. Brendan Seidel, and today we're going to have a great, amazing podcast. We do have one guest planned, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. So, we're going to get on into it in a moment here. We're just going to talk about the channel for a minute. We have gotten to, what is it now? 43 subscribers. Very good, very good. We're growing exponentially like crazy. So that is very good that we're growing. We're going to get a lot better. Our last episode has 86 views at this moment, and the first one has 51. That's very nice to know. Very nice to know that we will keep on growing from here. Our guest is in and ready to go, so we're going to talk about something and have him in. I want to thank you for joining us today. We'll get right on into it. So, first thing we're going to be talking about, well, I'll give you a rundown of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the California wildfires, which have been going around very recently. We're going to talk about H-1B visas, which have been very controversial in Congress and with Donald Trump and Elon Musk. We're going to talk about the Second Amendment, the attack on the New Year's parade, where a driver drive through some people, wasn't very good, and the Cybertruck explosion at the Trump Hotel, and just how those two events connected. But yeah, we'll get right on into it. I will show my screen. I won't show it yet, actually. So the California wildfires, they've been breaking out all over California. They've gotten LA. They're everywhere in California just because of how dry it is. Insanely dry. It says that fierce wildfires burning out of control in greater Los Angeles area have killed at least 5 people in the fires and forced nearly 180,000 more from their homes. The number of deaths total is unknown just because they can't go back and see everything because everything is just burnt and it won't stop spreading. It's been very hard for them to control the fire because of the wind. It's been hurricane winds, and it's very hard to control the ashes that are blowing around. So they really haven't made any progress in stopping this fire. The fire has burned through more than 17,000 acres in almost 27 square miles. It has destroyed over 2,000 structures in its entirety. It is not contained at all. It's making it the most destructive in LA history, which is a pretty crazy wildfire. And yeah, pretty crazy to know. One moment. But anyway, we'll take a look at this right here. This is some pictures of the wildfire and what it's been doing. As you can see LA over there. The city, it looks crazy. It looks like there was a nuke there or something. You see the fire in the distance. It's just the smoke, all the smoke. The orange stuff, that isn't fire. It's just, the smoke and coloring. You can see over here, the neighborhood is just completely destroyed, You wouldn't see it coming. You wouldn't know it coming. All right. Now, we can go on to some other stuff. Jimmy Carter's funeral was the other day. Donald Trump and Obama were hitting it up, really enjoying each other's stay there. Really kind of giggling, too. It's pretty nice to see. Now, H-1B1 visas. These visas allow people to come into the country to work for us and to get a job here. It allows workers to come from foreign countries to work for people in the U.S. Donald Trump and Elon Musk support this. Congress wants to change it. I personally believe that they should not change it. I feel like it's perfectly fine the way it is. We got other things we should be worrying about, like our money. We are very broke right now in America. All right. I think we will have our guests on here. So I'm going to let him come on in. This is Cole Plotty.
Hello?
One moment here. One moment.
Oh, I can't hear you, Brendan.
You can't hear me. No here? Let me figure out this audio first before we continue. Alright. One moment, I'm going to try to do something. Are you muted? Yeah. Do I not hear audio now? No, I hear audio. Cool, are you on mute? Yo. I think I'm going to do this here.
Yep. All right.
There we go. All right, hold on one sec. All right, I need to be up close and personal here. Because my cord does actually, hold on. We can check one more time. Okay, hello, can you hear me? Hello. What's that? Right,
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, good. All right. Text screen. Game over. Text screen. Yeah, you make no sense, Mason. Shut up, bro. All right, Cole. We're going to be talking about the Second Amendment here, all right?
All right.
So, what you know about the Second Amendment?
I know it gives everyone the right to have a firearm.
So, the Second Amendment, it was made for people to protect themselves against the government and other individuals here. You know, just in case you have to overthrow the government, will you try becoming a communistic party? Would not be very good when I throw them over. It's the right to bear arms. Cole, what else do you know about the Second Amendment? What are your opinions?
I think it's good. I think everyone should have the right to bear arms, and I think it's dumb that some people are trying to change it and mess with it.
I agree. Kamala Harris stated that she wants to ban assault weapons, and then she went back and tried saying that she didn't want to ban weapons and she was a gun owner herself, which really makes no sense. How are you going to say something and go back and change it? But, that's who she is, and that's what she wants to be. Trump supports weapons, even though he almost got shot in the head with one. He still supports it and believes that people should have their own weapons, their own rights.
Yep.
So Kamala just kind of acts like she supports it. The problem is we think about school shootings, we think about shootings in general, gun problems, gun violence, and we just think, oh, guns are the problem. Types of guns are problems, modifications are problems. We can monitor modifications, but it really isn't the guns that are the problem. It's the people who are using the guns. most of the people you see shooting up schools, shooting at Trump, they're mentally ill. They're not okay in the mind. They're not in the right state. So we just need to make sure we have the right people owning guns and make sure they're locked up so stuff like this doesn't happen. You got anything to say on that?
I believe you're right on that. I actually believe that everyone should have to take a gun safety course to
I
just
support that.
know about it, because there are a lot of accidental deaths that aren't shootings just because people don't know how to operate a gun and how to use it safely. And if more people knew about that, then less deaths would come from accidents.
I agree. There's a bunch of accidents that go around, people accidentally shooting each other, which it's really bad. If you're gonna own a gun, if you're gonna plan on owning a gun, you should take a class. You should know what you're doing and just overall what you're gonna be doing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there is just they go on and on about blaming the people who own the guns, and well, not blaming people who own the guns. Let me reword that. I said that wrong. They blame the guns. They blame the types of guns, what the guns are doing and stuff. It's not the guns that are the problem. It's the people that are using them. They're not locked up. They're not used in the right way. It's just, we need to have weapons. Okay, Mason, you're banned. One sec. Mason, you fell off. Your music crew's gone, dude. Just give up. It's okay. It's all right. All right, hold on one sec. I need to ban this little kid. All right. And then we'll go on with our chat. I mean, Mason, I'll let you stay. You just do something else. I'm going to time you out for 5 minutes. We need to mute this. All right. All right, boom. All right, so about the guns. You got anything else to say about the guns, weapons?
No, I think that's about it.
All right, you want to talk about any other topics?
Anything you want to talk
just
about?
Right along.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go into the attack of the New Year's parade. This one, there really isn't a lot of information about it. It's a sad event still. So attack on the New Year's. This happened at the New Year's parade, and I'm zoning out. I don't know where. At this moment, it was a 42-year-old man at the New Year's parade. The guy drove his truck around the barriers, and through police and stuff, they started shooting. The man ended up dying he got in a police shootout in the end, ended up dying, but he did end up killing 14 people as he plowed through them. He had a black ISIS flag on the back of his truck. He said he was inspired by ISIS on a post before he committed this crime. 2 explosive devices were found inside the vehicle also. It's believed that he just, believed in ISIS and believed that he needed to do this.
I think it happened in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's where it happened. All right. But yeah, there's not much to cover on that sad event still, Yeah. We can go on to the next thing that is connected with this attack too. We're going to go on to the Tesla Cybertruck explosion. All right, Levelsberg, an Army Green Beret who he got deployed into Afghanistan. He lived in Colorado Springs. He left notes saying the explosion was a stunt to be a wake-up call to the American people for the nation's troubles. I'm zoning out. Letters touched on his political grievances. He had some problems in the mind too. He wasn't that mentally good. Which, that relates to the gun violence thing too, Just goes on top of that. Okay. But yeah, he said this was just a wake-up call, including the war in Ukraine international issues. He wrote that the U.S. was terminally ill and headed towards collapse, which, it was coming with Trump in office. Hopefully we change that around and get a lot better. He had no will to harm President-elect Donald Trump. And in one of the notes he left, he said the country needed to rally around him and the Tesla CEO, Elon Musk. He didn't intend to kill anyone. The vehicle was full of more than 120 pounds of explosive material. And then he later shot himself. And he shot himself, and that's believed what has caused the explosion with the truck. He shot himself and ended up blowing up everything in the back, all the explosive material. No one died, and the hotel was not damaged, which is very good. That no one was harmed. I feel bad for the guy. It wasn't a great decision on what he should have done. But this also connects with the Orlando attack. Orlando. Whoa. I don't know what I'm thinking. But both the vehicles were rented in the New Year's parade and the Cybertruck explosion. And both individuals went to the same military, camp. They went to the same place, which is kind of crazy. It says they're not connected, but I don't know. Just kind of fishy that stuff happens, the same day, basically. You got anything to say on that? Anything?
Not really. I do think it's kind of weird that they have known each other, same date, same type of stuff, and they've known each other before.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. All right, cool. If you want to head out now, thank you for joining us on today's podcast. Hope to have you on a future one.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks for being here. All right, guys, we might get into some reactions now or something else. I'm unsure. Let me play it. We're supposed to have more guests on, but crazy. You want to know what else is crazy? There's something massive. We were supposed to have another guest on, but, I got bailed on a leash. All right. Close that. Anything you guys want to talk about? You want information on or anything? Comment down below so we can talk about it no matter what. All right. So I need to find us a document here. We have a document with some reaction videos. I want to get into some reactions because we needed the stream to last longer because 25 minutes just isn't it. All right. If we can find them. Which I don't know. Or if anyone wants to come on and talk about anything, comment down below in live chat and we can get you on. Let's see. How do you find the document, though? Might have deleted the document. Hopefully not. Let's see. It's not it. It's not it. All right. Don't think I have that document anymore. Cole says, Jackson, go on. Jackson, you want to come on and talk about something? Does not have to be political. Does not have to be news, whatever you want. Let's see. Oh, I have the videos. Jackson, you want to come on or just go straight to these videos? I just need to send myself the videos. Now we really gotta hope here that we don't get copyrighted, because the first podcast played some music and it got copyrighted. The first half of it. So that is no longer up. I've said the government's trying to shut me down for a while, and I think it's actually starting to happen and getting to play now. It's horrible. Also, we do have something else to announce. Later in January 26th, I will be going on vacation. And I don't want to leave the podcast behind. We need to bring the podcast with. So, we got some equipment. So, we're making a few videos there, some GoPros. We have another one. We have some equipment, so we're going to be doing some pretty cool video there. Won't be live. We might go live on my phone, though. And interview some people on there. It is a cruise ship, so pretty cool what we're going to do there. Yeah, so that should be pretty exciting. All right. Don't want volume right away. Let me make sure I can put this on YouTube before I get copyrighted and taken down. Yeah, plan on having a good video after I'm done on the vacation. And hopefully that will lead to some good stuff. So I'm going to actually, instead of do that, I'm going to go on mute while we watch and tune in and chime in stuff that I have to say. Let me make sure I can show this first. All right, so I think we'll be good. Just got to give them good stuff, so we'll go ahead and make sure that they are in the description of this video. So hold on, I think I can go back, but I don't want to chance it. We're trying to have this up. Yeah, 6 people watching. Nice. Okay, we can edit this right now. Details. Okay, before we start the reaction, we have 2 videos. We have a Karen yelling about Trump. And we're going to react to some moments in the presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. If you'd like to stay along and enjoy the podcast. If you don't want to, you can go ahead and head out. Thank you for joining us, but all right, I need to get the link so this stream stays up. If you guys want me to talk about anything else, just let me know. We can go back on it, or we can do it next stream. Shoot. This is taking too long to do this. All right. Here, go here. Boom. All right, we should be good to show these videos now. Shot right is typing. All right. good. Yeah, very good. That should be good now. All right. So now we can get into some reactions. I'm gonna watch on my phone while this plays. Just tune in, chime in, and say some stuff along the way. All right, we can go ahead and share the screen now. Kind of skim through this really fast, so if it's bad, don't blame me. Yeah, okay. Let's share the screen now. What are we doing? All right. We need to go here, show on screen. Here we go. This is fuck you. Karen with TDS melts down over Trump sign. Pretty crazy, huh? Pretty freaking crazy. All right, let's get right into it.
Who lives a few houses down is coming to say hello. Let's greet her.
Hi. I want to know how you can vote.
We can't answer the door right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
Shameful.
Are you the one that walks by here and always screaming at people?
No, I haven't walked by recently.
Okay, because a lot of people walk by and scream.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You are voting for the devil. Don't you know that?
Well, voting for the devil. For someone who fakes accents and wants to take away guns and make our country horrible, I don't know. I don't know about Kamala Harris here. Donald Trump can do a lot better than that. Anyway, let's go on.
Devil! Oh my, that seems like a problem. Good thing she came to tell us that.
No,
Why are you voting for him?
because I believe he is the moral candidate.
Oh, my God. F you for that one.
That's
Moral?
exactly right. That's how your side acts.
Oh, my God.
That's
He's
how
the
you
most
guys-
immoral person around.
In your opinion, that's
Oh,
okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. God
everybody's opposed to you.
God bless you.
What code of
All right, so you see a lot of Kamala Harris supporters. They go around and they start screaming like this. You know, they just scream. You know, Charlie Kirk, he debated 25 Democrats, him versus 25 Democrats, or liberals. Can't remember which one it was. Practically the same thing, but he debated them, and they just started going crazy on him. You know, they sit there and they just talk over you. You know, I do gotta admit, there are some Trump supporters out there that do the same thing, which makes us look very bad. It makes us look very bad. It's just not good. With Dean Withers, who is a popular Democratic live streamer, he debates people. And Harry Sisson, so they get some people on there who, you know, I'm not a huge fan of. They kind of sit there and scream. So it's a little bit on both sides, but a lot more people start screaming and, you know, overdoing it on the Democratic side here, which is just kind of crazy. You know, it's not really worth it to do that. Let's see if there's anything left in this video before we go into the next
ethics does this lady follow that allows one to be moral and tell their neighbors, fuck you, because they're voting for someone you don't like? Zachary Levi, a Donald Trump supporting movie star who's faced harassment and abuse, summed it up best.
If you're so full of hate, of fear and hate, that you resort to using tactics like that, you have lost the plot.
This wasn't the only neighbor upset about Trump that we've seen this election season.
Love that, Matt. I need to get me one of those mats. That's amazing.
The reason I'm coming to your door is I had somebody look into that thing in your yard that I think is a monstrosity, and I don't really like the way it's like degrading a neighborhood. And he works for the electric company, and he said that's not your property. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to remove it, or I will be making a complaint.
To give you full context, this is what she's upset about.
Hey, check this out. A couple points. When we moved in, we had a survey done that is 110% my property. That the county will verify it.
It says it is the roadway easement.
You know, you also see when people put up Trump signs and stuff, they say, "Oh, it's not your property." They just say stuff like, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't do this." And they just try to, get anything to do with you. It's really just kind of pathetic. So we're going to the next video, which is a bit of a better one. Bit of a better video. So, before I go here, let's look. Yo. That's crazy. Alright. Share screen. Trump versus Harris, best moments. The presidential debate. So let's get watching it. Before we start, we want to start off by saying, you see Kamala Harris strutting out at the corner, absolutely getting the hips on into it, strutting out on there. You'll see Trump does a little bit more of a slow walk over in the corner. And what you're going to notice is Kamala Harris quickly and swiftly tries to go over to Donald Trump very, very quicker than he tries going to his podium. So she's trying to assert that she is a nicer candidate here by giving him a handshake and greeting him at the debate, when they could have just met in the middle and she could have offered him a handshake. But she decided to swiftly run over to make her look good in the beginning and get a good jump start into that debate. Let's go on.
Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
Nice to see you. Have fun.
Thank you.
Do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid.
And they're
Already, we gotta stop there. Raised as a middle-class kid. The amount of times we hear that. The amount of times we hear that is just insane. It's insane. All she does, they'll ask, were you better off than you were 4 years ago? And she always has gone to that. That's her savior in this question. Were you better off 4 years ago than now? She goes, "Oh, I was raised in a middle-class family, and in that middle-class family, by the time I was a teenager, my mom had enough money to buy a house." And that's what she goes on to say. And it's really just yapping. It's just yapping, They sit there and just yap. That's all she does is just yap. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And I'm sorry if the video is laggy or if I'm laggy. We're on a tight budget here. We haven't made any money yet. Soon we will, hopefully.
they're coming in and they're taking jobs that are occupied right now by African Americans and Hispanics.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression.
She doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run.
With COVID, is he actually thanked President Xi for what he did during COVID? Look at his tweet. "Thank you, President Xi, exclamation point," when we know that Xi was responsible for lacking and not giving us transparency about the origins of COVID.
I don't say her because she has no policy. Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a message.
That is true. She has gone and taken his stuff. Donald Trump said he wants no tax on tips, and then the news reported it. Oh, it's going to cost us billions of dollars. We send to Ukraine. But it's going to cost us billions of dollars. Then a few weeks later, Kamala Harris says, and she comes out and says, no tax on tips, and the news reports it as a great thing that's going to help people out. You can just see the difference in the media there and how they determine and explain stuff. It's really dirty work here. And Trump was going to send her a MAGA hat. That is great. Let's keep on going.
MAGA hat. She's gone to my philosophy, but she's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics, and he taught her well. But when you look at what she's done to our country, and when you look at these millions and millions of people that are pouring into our country monthly, where it's, I believe, 21 million people, not the 15 that people say, and I think it's a lot higher than the 21. That's bigger than New York State.
Well, as I said, you're going to hear a bunch of lies, and that's not actually a surprising fact. Let's understand how we got here.
I think probably her boss, if you call him a boss, he spends all his time on the beach.
Couples who pray and
Speaking of praying, she said people cannot say Merry Christmas. How dare we say Merry Christmas? And then she goes on to, tell lies about her being religious. She didn't show up to the, what's the dinner called? I'm not a very religious person. I don't know at the moment. But there is a very special dinner that usually presidents and president nominees show up to. But she ended up not showing up to that one, which is, just disappointing and disrespectful, honestly. She also said that he's going to tell a bunch of lies, but we can already see with her fake accents and stuff where that really went. And also, they go on and she's lied and said Biden's in perfect health. And then after their Donald Trump and Joe Biden's presidential debate and how bad he performed, they go on and kick him out like a dog. They kick him out of there. They said, "Oh, Biden, you can't run." And people say that they didn't do that to him. They didn't kick him out. He decided not to run. He decided not to run because his party didn't want him to run. He was splitting up his party. He actually said that recently. In an interview, he said that he didn't want to split his party and he'd rather not run. And he's enjoyed being president, but didn't want his party to be split. He said that he thinks if he ran, he would have won. He thinks Kamala would have won, which I think he just said because he had to, realistically. And it's just kind of disappointing in their party. They really just don't know how to do anything. Very dumb. Let's keep going.
Dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments.
Vice President Harris,
Excuse me, I have to respond. Another lie. It's another lie.
That wasn't her lie. She said they're being denied treatments. Why did she have to bring that up, though? I get abortion's a big topic here, but Donald Trump, before this, he came out and said that he wants to leave it to the states. He doesn't want to ban abortion. A lot of people say Trump wants to ban abortion, Trump's to do this, Trump's to do that. When really they don't look into it. He wants to leave it to the states, and that's what he said. So let's go on.
I have been a leader on IVF. Will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that?
Now, let me give you my thought here on abortion. I don't like talking abortion a lot, since I'm a male, it's not really my thing to talk about, even though I can. I'd rather not, just out of respect. I feel abortion should be allowed to incest or rape, and it should be allowed, but not after the 6th month, around the 6th month, 5th or 6th month. After that, because the baby's already basically developed, it's ready. At that point, it's practically already ready. You got a few more months to go. I mean, it's just, that's my point of view. Yeah.
Why don't you ask her that question?
Why don't you answer the question? Would you
because
veto?
Under Roe v. Wade,
answer the question. Would you veto?
You could,
and I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there and then showing them in a different light. In Springfield.
Before we get on to the dogs and the cats here, we're going to talk about the fictional characters. I've been to a Trump rally myself. One momento. Oh, hold on. One momento. You can kind of see there, that is a picture that I've taken. If there's no glare. Of the Trump rally I went to. It was a very small building, but it was packed. It was packed full. And I can tell you, people do not leave the Trump rally early. They don't. They just don't. He doesn't talk about fictional characters like she said. You know, he didn't talk about fictional character. So we're going to cross that one off. People didn't leave either. And now, I don't want to look up an image of the people being bussed in because I don't know if it is true or not. If it's fake or not. I'll look into it more and we'll talk about it in another time. So I'll write that down here. But we do know that she did pay people, like Beyonce, to come to her rallies and talk and say they support her, which is just fake. So we're going to go on here and let's get into the dogs and the cats clip. Which it is true that an immigrant did eat a dog. No, a cat, not a dog, a cat.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating.
And you're going to see a lot here in this video. We got a giggle monster here. That's what I'm going to call her, a giggle monster, because she just sits there and she just giggles. It's the only thing she does. Whenever she's just nervous or, doesn't know what to say or how to react, she just giggles. And talks about yellow school buses, which, pretty interesting way to go at stuff. We haven't seen that before.
Eating the pets.
There have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals.
Now we're going to lie. And he's in a fact check, which was actually not allowed in this presidential debate. Fact checking was not allowed. And yet they go on to fact check Donald Trump. I think it was 2 or 3 times that they did. And fact checking wasn't allowed. They said they weren't gonna, and it's just kind of unfair and unruly here.
Individuals within the immigrant.
And I'm not saying that fact checking is true. I believe it is wrong. I'll look into it more also.
Community.
Well,
all
I've
this.
seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is
the people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
but
television.
The people
I'm
on
taking it from
television
the city
saying
manager.
their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
You talk about extreme. Including the endorsement of former Vice President Dick Cheney.
See, I'm a different kind of a person. I fired most of those people. Not so graciously. They did bad things or a bad job. I fired them. They never fired one person. They didn't fire anybody having to do with Afghanistan. And you take a guy like Esper, he was no good. I fired him. So he writes a book. Another one writes a book. Because with me, they can write books. With nobody else, can they?
Vice President Harris.
Well, I think this is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted.
Vice President.
Prosecuted. Also, we're going to talk about the Trump cases real quick. I believe they've been all called off now. He's got sentenced nothing. He has to pay no money. Nothing happened, which really just proves that those cases were not real at all. And it turns out they just weren't real. I'll look into that more, and we'll get back at it next time. I'll also write that down just to confirm. I want to make sure I'm not lying here. Let's get back into the video.
Harris, in your last run for president,
This is the one that weaponized, not me.
why have so many of your policy positions changed?
So my values have not changed, and I'm going to discuss at least every point that you've made. Not everybody got handed $400 million on a silver platter and then filed bankruptcy 6 times is a value that I bring to my work.
Like, she was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute, I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar? She went out. In
That was a great moment there. I was watching this live and I was just laughing my ass off here. A very great moment. That was a remake of the Mike Pence situation when Mike Pence and Kamala Harris had a vice presidential debate before 2020 election. And yeah, she said that to him and Trump had to, bite back. Understandable, because she was just talking over. And they're not allowed to do that, actually. They're supposed to mute the microphones. Well, I don't know if they did in that one and the Kamala Harris one, but I think they did in the Joe Biden one. But we'll go on to see later.
Minnesota. By the way, I'm a big fan of solar, but they take 400, 500 acres of desert
President
soil.
Trump, we have a
These
lot
are
of
not good
issues
things
that we
for the
have to get
environment
to.
that
We're
she
out of time.
understands.
You also see this news, they keep cutting him off and tell him to end early, but if Kamala Harris is talking, they'll give her a few more seconds, but they get straight to it for Donald.
Was the border czar. She doesn't want to be called the border czar because she's embarrassed by the border. In fact, she said at the beginning, "Oh, I'm surprised you're not talking about the border yet." That's because she knows what a bad job they've done. 2 weeks ago, her daughter has a tape of her saying she is fully responsible for what happened.
We don't have to go back. Let's not go back. We're not going back. It's time to turn the page.
She's so right. We got to turn the page. On Joe Biden, we can't go back to Joe Biden. We got to change it up. She'll do the same exact thing as Joe Biden, even worse, and she knows what she's doing in the mind. And she doesn't have dementia. And, her mind is still capable of doing things, surprisingly. But, yeah, we're not going back. We're going back to Trump. We're not going back to Biden's presidency.
Let's turn the page on this. Let's not go back. Let's chart a course for the future and not go backwards to the past.
I'd like to see her go down. They have the right to do it. The president of the United States, you'll get him out of bed. You'll wake him up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You'll say, come on down to the office. Let's sign a bill. I said that.
Are you now acknowledging that you lost in 2020?
No, I don't acknowledge that at all.
But
I
you
said
did
that
say
sarcastically.
that.
You know that. It was said, oh, we lost by a whisker. That was said sarcastically.
All of these pieces of video.
They also do that a lot. They come in and they say, they'll say something sarcastically, and they'll come in and be like, oh, he said that on serious. He said that seriously. Trump says a lot of things that he doesn't say seriously here. And it really just goes to show Kamala Harris and the fake media, they just go and they lie. They lie and lie and lie. Now, in this debate, I remember Donald Trump said he had concepts of a plan for Obamacare, for changing Obamacare. And they took that and they said he has concepts for his whole plan, not just for Obamacare. So Kamala Harris later goes on and she screeches and she says the most raspy voice ever. He has concepts of the plan, and they just use that a bunch on him, which really just lying. It's like, come on, get better.
I didn't detect the sarcasm. Lost by a whisker. We didn't quite make it.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people.
While this app plays. We're not going to listen to them. No free ads. But what just happened? What just happened there? We're going to go back a moment. How far is this?
I didn't detect the sarcasm. Lost by a whisker. We didn't quite make it.
Donald Trump was fired fired by 80.
Remember what I was going to say here. So she said he was fired by 81 million people. Now, the thing is that election, the 2020 election, had the most turnout of any election. It soared. Donald Trump had similar votes in the 2016 election to the 2020 election. Very similar votes, I believe. I'll make sure to look into that. I'll try to find the doc here, but I think I get deleted on accident. That had all my information about the 2020 election. But it goes to show that they sit here and they lie and they lie and they lie. That election had the most mail-in ballots and the most voter turnout in the last 9 elections. And they say, oh, and there's something sketchy going on in the 2020 election that needs to be further investigated. I'll try to do some more research on that, and that could be brought up in another episode. We'll save that for then too. We're gonna have a lot of stuff written down and stuff to do in the next episode. Let's continue.
81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that. As he did in the past. I have traveled the world as Vice President of the United States. And world leaders are laughing at Donald Trump.
You talk about a threat to democracy.
They're not laughing at Donald Trump. They take Donald Trump very seriously. Donald Trump was the first president to enter North Korea, I believe, if I'm not wrong. They took him very seriously, and they probably look at Joe Biden with him closing his eyes just in there. And I bet you they take that real seriously. Or Kamala Harris, who talks about a great yellow school bus, She sits here and she just lies over and over, and it's just disappointing. Very disappointing. Let's continue. Also, she says she's been to places, but she hasn't been to the border.
He got 14 million votes, and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her. But
Mr.
he
President.
got 14 million.
That is true. Joe Biden does hate Kamala Harris. It is true. Some of you might be like, oh, what is Brennan talking about now? What is he talking about? They ran against each other in the 2020 election. Kamala Harris had no followers. No one liked her. So she ended up dropping out of the race. Now, Joe Biden, elderly man, older than Donald Trump. People were like, oh, he wants someone younger. It came down to those two. Joe Biden. I'm not a racist person at all. And, I'm not to offend anyone here when I say this or anything, but he wanted to touch another community. Now, so he decided to get a colored female vice president. Now, I know he could have chose a bunch of other people, there's a bunch of options there, but he decided to do that. And I feel like he had some reasoning to do that, and I feel like he thought it would help him out. It might have, it might have been all the votes that turned out, but I feel like that election's still pretty sketchy how it looks it too. And yeah, but they did not like each other. They still don't like each other. If you saw at the Jimmy Carter funeral, Kamala Harris sat down. No one greeted her. None of the presidents greeted her, the former presidents. She just gave him the cold shoulder, and Trump and Obama were just laughing in the background, having a great time. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. When Jill and Joe Biden sat down, they didn't even talk to Kamala Harris or Doug. A lot of people don't know Doug, Kamala Harris's husband. The second man, they call it. I don't know if I like that. But anyway, let's go on.
Votes, they threw him out. She got 0 votes. And when she ran, she was the first one to leave because she failed. And now she's running. I don't understand it, but
Mr.
I'm
President,
okay with it because
your time is
I
up.
think we're
Thank
going to
you.
do very well.
We've got a lot more.
But the one thing I will assure you always, I will always give Israel the ability to defend itself.
She hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu when he went to Congress to make a very important speech. She refused to be there because she was at a sorority party of hers. She wanted to go to the sorority party.
That's absolutely not true. I
He also said that she wanted to have a dance party with Beyonce. But, you know, I believe that.
Of my entire career and life supported Israel and the Israeli people. It is well known he exchanged love letters with Kim Jong-un, and it is absolutely well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear they can manipulate you with flattery and favors.
You know, I wouldn't expect that, honestly, because he still has a mind to use, you know. He still has a mind to use, unlike Joe Biden. Kamala Harris's mind, but, you know, she's not very scary, because when she said to Putin before he invaded Ukraine, I believe this was before, she said, don't. Just don't. That's all she said, just don't. And, you know, Donald Trump, he meets with a lot of people. As soon as he got elected, there was tons of stuff going on instantly where countries wanted to have a better relationship with the U.S. and they wanted to overall just be more friends with us, you know. Let me pull up. Whoopsie. All right. So this is my video. Do not copyright this, YouTube. I'm gonna go in here. And I'm gonna share this screen here. One moment. All right, we're gonna share the screen here. My TikTok that I made. I don't know if it was the day after, but yeah, let's make sure this is shown on screen. So Hamas calls for an immediate end to war after Trump election win. They say, oh, well, Joe Biden ended this, but yeah, it's just, come on, stop lying to us here. Putin believes that he is sincere about ending the war. This history, the stocks did surge to record highs after Trump won the election. That is true. That actually did happen, too. Chinese President Xi Jinping holds telephone conversation with Donald Trump right after he won the election. That's nice to know that he's already getting a hold of people and playing stuff out. And after he won the election, we're also going to pause here. After he won the election, he also went dead silent on all social medias, including X, which he posts on very occasionally. Very, very occasionally. He went ghost silent because he already was getting right to it, getting to work, talking to people. Travel to India in 2025, meet Prime Minister Modi of India. So that's also good to know. The Saudi Arabian prince, don't want to say that name, Mohammed bin Salman, calls to strengthen relationships with the United States following Donald Trump's victory. This will help us with our oil too, make it cheaper if we still are going to buy it. Which, you know, very expensive. That's why inflation is also a thing. Turkish president congratulates Donald Trump. Zelensky congratulates Donald Trump on the election. Donald Trump also called Zelensky President Putin. He didn't know what he was thinking either there. So, Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu, he wants to end the war before he enters office, which I believe it has ended. Look into. I haven't heard anything on it recently on the news or anything really, so I believe it is done. I look like an idiot here if it's still going on. I'll be looking into it. Russia says that the United States is fueling the Ukrainian conflict, but President Trump can't help bring it to an end. Okay, that's the end of that video. So as you can see, there's just a bunch of stuff. Yes, Trump 2024. I agree. I agree completely, man. I'm a Trump supporter, if you can't tell in the background. But a lot of stuff changed right after we won the election. It got a lot better for us, you know. But anyway, let's get back to this reaction.
Either you pay up or we're not going to protect you anymore. So that's maybe one of the reasons I don't like.
That's also a big thing. We pay in NATO, we pay majority of everything that goes on in NATO, we pay for it. You know, other countries, they don't put in their support here. They just kind of let us pay it all and think we're doing perfectly fine over here, you know. It's just, we need more money here, man. We need you need to be putting in your part if you want to be part of it.
Like me as much as they like weak people. But don't kid yourself, David. We're playing with World War III, and we have a president that we don't even know if he's... Where is our president? We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to clarify
they
here...
threw him out of a campaign like a dog. We don't even know. Is he our president? But we have a president,
Mr. President,
that doesn't know he's alive.
Your time...
Well, first of all, it's important to remind the former president you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me.
She was the emissary. They sent...
Yeah. I agree. She lies about a lot of stuff here. But, you know, that made me zone out, actually. Wow. What is it just talking about? Let's go back. Nope, not that, but...
And against me.
She was the...
There we go. So, she says they are now running against her and not Joe Biden, which is, you know, it's true, but she is literally just going to copy Joe Biden and be even worse because she can lie even more and, you know, not spaz out and, you know, take a nap midway through stuff and go walking off the wrong side of the stage.
The emissary. They sent her in to negotiate with Zelensky and Putin, and she did. And the war started 3 days later. And that's the kind of talent we have with her. She's worse than Biden. In my opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst vice president in the history of our country. But let me tell you something. She is a horrible negotiator. They sent her in to negotiate. As soon as they left, Putin did the invasion.
Donald Trump, when he was president, negotiated one of the weakest deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker. Even his national security advisor said it was a weak, terrible deal. Respected world leaders. And this former president...
Abdul is the head.
Took her a while to spit out that word there, you know. You know, she just sits here and... I keep saying this over and over, but she just lies and lies and lies. It's just outrageous at this point. I'm not even commenting on it anymore.
The Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems. And he said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul. And for 18 months, we had nobody killed. These people did the worst withdrawal and, in my opinion, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And
yeah, when we withdrawal, that was a very, very bad moment. You know, really just messed the stuff there. We'll write that down and talk about that in a future podcasts. Yeah, people running to the planes and stuff. A big, big mess. It was horrible. Very, very bad. It made us look just miserable.
by the way, that's why Russia attacked Ukraine, because they saw how incompetent she and her boss are. I don't care what she is. I don't care. Whatever she wants to be is okay with me. I read where she was not black, that she put out, and
Also, just to go on top of that, she said that she was Indian for the longest time, part Indian, I believe. for the longest time, she made meals and everything on a show, I believe. Don't know if they were Indian meals. Sorry if I'm wrong here. But she made meals and stuff, and then she decided to switch up and be part of the African American community. Which, it's it's a chameleon changing up, It's kind of crazy. Let's continue.
I'll say that. And then I read that she was black, and that's okay. Either one was okay with me. That's up to her. That's up to her.
I think honestly, I think it's a tragedy. He was a land, he owned buildings. We see in each other a friend. We see in each other a neighbor.
She is Biden. She's trying to get away from Biden. I don't know the gentleman, she says. She is Biden.
Clearly.
She didn't want to say, clearly I'm not Joe Biden. But she is Biden. That's the thing. She just took his plan and she's going to make it even worse. She said before on an interview that she would not change a single thing. And she signed off on everything. I don't know if Joe Biden said that she signed off on everything or she did. But it has been said by one of them that she did sign off on everything that Joe Biden did too. And she said she wouldn't change a thing. Which is just insane because there's so many bad stuff that you can think of and name. And it's crazy.
Clearly, I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump. And let's compare the plans. I have a plan. I have a plan. I have a plan. Let's turn the page.
She has a plan. She has a plan.
President Trump,
she
we
has
do
a
have to
plan.
move- Okay,
That's
you,
what her
President.
plan is until just recently.
I just need
Lindsey,
to
go ahead.
respond because
Trump,
the
President
former
Trump-
president has said
No, I'm
something
sorry.
twice that I need to
No,
respond to.
I'm sorry. We're
I
gonna
just need to
move on,
respond
Vice
one
President
time
Harris.
to what he has.
See, they knew they had to do something there. They had to cut her off there, which, looks very good. Looks very good there when they cut her off. Very nice to see. But she was very, very, very fuming there. Very steamy. She really needed to get that off her mind. But let's keep watching.
President Trump, this is
multiple
now
times.
your
Yes.
third time running for president. You have. We're
need
going
to
to move on.
respond.
So tonight, 9 years after you first started running, do you have a plan?
If we come up with something, and we are working on things, we're going to do it and we're going to replace it. But what we will do is we're looking at different plans. If we can come up with a plan then I would absolutely do it.
So just.
You can see this video is cut, and it's kind of making them both look bad, which I don't care personally. I can make Trump look bad. I can defend it, but that was where they said that he had concepts of a plan when he was talking about Obamacare. So let's continue.
Just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan.
I have concepts of a plan.
You have no plan. Remember when
This is a crooked administration, and they're selling our country down the tubes.
President Trump, thank you.
Thank you. The worst president, the worst vice president in the
So as we can see there, that will basically be it for today's stream. I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank you for watching the video. If you're watching live after it was streamed, I want to thank you for just participating. If you like this kind of stuff, make sure to subscribe. We're looking to get to 75 subscribers by the time I go on vacation, so we can get a nice vlog or stream or something going on there. Nice video. But as you can see, Kamala Harris just went on and lied and lied and lied. I'll get the clip of him talking about Obamacare, and that's where the concepts of the plan went into. I'll write that down too right now in one moment. All right, we have a lot of stuff written down on a notepad for next stream. I want to thank you guys for being a part of this stream. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you will see the next one, and I hope you see you there. We might go live in half a week, very, very soon. Sooner than this time, than last time. But yeah, I want to thank you for being part. If you have any suggestions, anything you want us to talk about, make sure to comment that. And you know, we'll go on and have some great streams. We'll grow. We'll get better. But yeah, thank you for being a part of today's stream. And I'll see you all in the next one.